Here's a highway safety sign out of Massachusetts. Changing lanes? Use your blinker. Here's one out of Arizona from Christmas Eve. Use headlights like Rudolph uses his red nose. And here's one out of Texas from around the time of that big virus that kind of alludes to a really old movie. No close encounters of any kind. These things are kind of cute and cheeky. Though Rudolph's nose is red like a brake light, not a headlight. Anyway, it looks like the federal government has their own message for whoever's coming up with these signs. Yeah, so according to the Wall Street Journal, the Federal Highway Administration is cracking down on what state highway officials display on roadside message boards. These things are known as variable message signs, and they're designed to relay important information to motorists. Traffic delays, weather conditions, amber alerts, and all sorts of information the public needs to know. Like that they shouldn't be engaged in Pokemon Go behind the wheel. But when nothing important is really going on, states sometimes put out generic messages mixed with dad jokes and other goofy stuff. Twitter is full of examples of these. Go Ask a Scientist saw this one heading back to Minnesota from Iowa. Drivers who speed in the snow may become adrift. JR Schugel saw this punny sign in Utah once, reading, "Not buckled, what's holding you back?" And Slackboss once spotted this other one in Utah, reading, "Have some class, stay off my bumper," which is implied to mean ass. Well, our federal government appears to have had enough of your bumper, because back in December, the Federal Highway Administration dropped its 11th edition of the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. And if you pull out your copy to follow along, turn to the Guidance on Traffic Safety Campaign Messages on page 519. Messages with obscure or secondary meanings, such as those with popular culture references, unconventional sign legend syntax, or that are intended to be humorous, should not be used as they might be misunderstood or understood only by a limited segment of road users, and require greater time to process and understand. In other words, even if you think you're serving up a helpful, cute reminder to use your turn signals, the guidance from our manual here thinks you're too stupid to get it. And believe it or not, there's actually research on all this. Here's one study from 2020 from the Virginia Transportation Research Council. Driver response to dynamic message sign safety campaign messages. Using an example of, "May the 4th be with you, text I will not." An apparent Star Wars reference for those of driving age. You know those movies are for children, right? The report says results provide evidence that drivers find non-traditional safety messages as effective. And messages about distracted driving, messages that include humor, and messages that use wordplay and rhymes rank high among multiple measures of effectiveness. But that's just one report. In a more recent 2022 study by the Department of Transportation, Behavioral Traffic Safety Messaging on Variable Message Signs, this report says excessively humorous BTS messages may entertain drivers without getting them to understand and accept the safety of the topic being presented. And negative appeal messages that utilize parodies, plays on words, or that attempt to mock or shame certain drivers may be considered in bad taste or offensive to some drivers. Their conclusion: based on the results of this research, it is recommended that BTS messages to be displayed on VMS not include humor, wit, or pop culture references in this message. Well, New Jersey didn't appear to heed the advice of that Killjoy report, because in spite of that 2022 publication, they were still using funny signs like, "Hold on to your butts, help prevent forest fires," which people liked so much they started taking pictures of the signs, which then led their Department of Transportation to release this cat meme stating, "If you keep taking photos of the VMS boards while driving, we will turn this car around and go back to the old messages." As reported in the Journal, the Federal Highway Administration even went ahead and blocked those messages. And regarding this newer guidance, an agency spokesperson said in a statement that traffic safety messages should have 5 principles. They need to fulfill a need, command attention, convey a clear, simple message, command respect, and provide adequate time for proper response. I wonder if this meme counts.